Labor ranks. Let's look at this a little bit more with Liberal MP Kelly O'Dwyer and Labor MP Nick Champion. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Joel Fitzgibbon concedes there has been talk. Mark Dreyfus leaving a lot through to the keeper this morning, not wanting to touch it. Do you accept that there is talk that it's today or never for the Labor Party?
Oh, look, I think, there is talk around the place, whether it's by journalists or whether it's by politicians. You can't deny there's a bit of chatter around the place. I guess it just depends on how much, credence you give to that chatter. Graham's obviously expressed some views on the doors this morning. They'll add to that chatter, won't they?
You don't agree with him?
Well, look, I guess that's a matter for the party to consider. I hadn't given it much thought myself.
What about the prospect that Joel Fitzgibbon said if there's nothing done by the budget, that it's not going to happen beyond that? Essentially, he's saying to people within the caucus, move now or don't.
Well, Kieran, my views, were expressed on this television station, I think, in February last year, and I was, on the record. There's no sort of hiding that. I guess if people have changed their minds since then, that's a matter for caucus. And I remember John Howard. What did John Howard used to say? He had a formula for these things, which was as long as he had the support of a majority of his colleagues, and it was in the best interest of the party. And it seems to me that maybe all politicians and all political parties should sort of cast their minds back to John Howard's sort of formula. Not that he always followed it himself, of course.
Yeah, no, he didn't follow it at the end.
I think it's a slightly different scenario, with the Howard leadership and what we're seeing at the moment with the government right now. We're obviously seeing a government in disarray, and I really do feel for you, Nick. Being on this program today, you've obviously
here with you, Kelly.
Yeah, well, I love that. I love that. But
it's great compassion. It's nice to see the compassion.
He's always full of compassion.
No, I do feel for Nick, and the reason I do feel
crocodile tears streaming down the face.
No, it's genuine. It's genuine. And the reason I feel for him is because, of course, he has expressed his views. He supports Kevin Rudd. He can't say that now. He can't say what I can say, which is that Tony Abbott has been a tremendous leader of the Liberal Party. He continues to be. He has the full support of his team. He will lead us to the next election. He will be Prime Minister, and he will have the support going on. Now, you can't say that about Julia Gillard because you don't support her.
Let's just talk about this, though, because as I understand it, Barnaby Joyce is going to be joining us in the House of Representatives.
No,
I'm not trying to distract.
Can you make the same statement?
Well, I'm just trying to give you this sort of context around things.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, Barnaby Joyce is going to come down with us in the lower house, and that will be very exciting, I think, for the National Party, because what it guarantees is from day one there will be this huge fight for the Deputy Prime Ministership in this fantasy of Abbott government.
This is your
right from day one, you have to be dealing with the internecine battles of your small coalition partner.
I want to look at the front page of the Daily Telegraph today. Poleaxed is the headline. It's about a poll. South Australian politics well. This was some
very well
party polling done prior to the last coup, and it showed that things actually weren't that bad. This is Simon Benson breaking the story today. What do you make of it? Of the poll? Why was it kept secret?
Well, Kieran, I know this, right? It's not front page news. It might be in Sydney, but it's not front page news in Adelaide that Amanda Rishworth, a very good local MP, was going to get re-elected. That's not news. She's a very, very good...
Why was it kept secret at the time?
But Amanda Rishworth is a very, very good MP, and all this poll revealed was that she was going to win.
No, but it didn't. It didn't. The poll actually... The front page of the papers today are actually around the leadership and the fact that Kevin Rudd was not as unpopular as those who were trying to overthrow him suggested. And it's not about Amanda Rishworth. I think, Amanda, is a good friend of yours. Amanda is a good friend of yours. Amanda is, a joint convener for me, the parliamentary friends. We're in maths, science and engineering.
Indeed.
But I won't make any comment on what she's like locally. But I would say that you're totally deflecting the question about the leadership here.
Never.
And I think, I think you should probably, say what it is that's in your heart. You know,
Well, I am. Amanda Richworth is a great MP for Kingston and was always going to win. She was always going to win.
There's just two of us here. There's only two of us.
Front page
Open
news.
up.
Front page news in Sydney, but old news in Adelaide. Amanda Richworth, great local MP.
All right, well, let's look at the media laws now. Tony Windsor says there's a 60% chance of a deal based on a compromise. We spoke to Andrew Wilkie's office just a short time ago. There were reports this morning, Channel 7 reporting that there was going to be possibly some abstaining. Wilkie says he's not going to abstain, he's going to vote against it. Maybe some of the others are, and that might allow the bill to get through. What's your sense? Either way, it's been botched though, hasn't it, the handling of it?
Well, look, I think these are obviously controversial, topical. The whole parliament, the country is interested in them. But I think it's a bit like when we had the tax summit back in the 80s and Keating said, you know, that they crossed the line, one wheel off the chariot, but they still cross the line. And I think when Parliament rises, we'll have some changes to our media laws. I think we're debating in the Senate higher content for Australian channels, which I think is something we all agree on. Few more neighbours and home and aways and that sort of thing. I think there'll be some.
With that simple.
There'll be some positive change that comes out of this, and you know, then we'll all get.
But it
on
hasn't
with
really
things.
helped the Prime Minister's leadership, has it? Just having this sort of sideshow debacle.
Well, look, you'll always have policy debate and controversy.
But in 2 weeks, it's just what was the rush?
Well, I'm just saying, there's always going to be big policy debates in this country, and the day we stop having them is a bad day for Australia, not a good day.
Well, I think we're in the really quite ironic position where we have been notified that we potentially will be sitting, you know, for quite a substantial period of the night tonight debating these media reforms, but that they will ultimately be guillotined. That the government, this could be the great irony that we face today, that the government may well indeed guillotine debates on free speech, because ultimately this is what your media laws go to. They go to freedom of speech in our press. The government now wants to have a government-controlled regulator of the media. They want a public, you know, interest test that they call it, but it's really a political interest test. This is really a substantial change, and the government wants it to go through without scrutiny, without any real analysis. They've dumped it on the Parliament. They don't want any real discussion.
Based on a compromise that's been formulated by the member for Kennedy,
Slipper, you know, Peter
largely
Slipper,
this panel.
Well, that's parliamentary democracy.
Craig Thompson.
Parliamentary democracy. These people have all got to vote.
These people are writing our media laws. My goodness.
Well, let's not forget. Look, there are the High Court has guaranteed free speech in Australia, right? And that's been you know there in our decisions for a long time.
You can't even keep a straight face on
Let's
this.
look at one. Well, a couple of issues to finish. I want to get your thoughts on the apology to those who were the subject of forced adoptions. It's going to be an emotional day, isn't it, for many people? 800 people attending who have been personally affected. It's you know, hard to get your head around the torment that would have been felt by those who were the subject of these. I think the Attorney General said 150,000 is the estimate.
Which is extraordinary, and I think actually on this we will agree. I mean, I think, you know, it is going to be a good thing that the Prime Minister does today. She will be issuing a national apology for people who were involved in forced adoptions. This will have a great impact and import for many families who are affected by this decision. So I think it's a good thing.
Okay, Nick.
Well, I think we're grappling, and we've been grappling for a number of years with, if you like, the power of the state and its impact on individuals' lives, and in particular, whether or not these things were motivated by the best of intentions. We know they cause great harm to some individuals, and the apology is about expressing our concern and care for those individuals.
I want to finish with one last thing, Kelly. You made some comments in the Federation Chamber saying that you support changes to the Marriage Act to recognise same-sex marriage, that the party hasn't decided its election policy yet. Obviously, a matter of conscience for you as well.
Well, basically the policy, you know, that the party takes to one election can be changed going into another election. We go through an ordinary, you know, review process that happens each and every election. We look at the policies that we took to the last one, and we go through them and see whether we'll take them to the next one. I've expressed my personal view that I think we should review the policy that we took to the last election.
Any hope of that happening, do you think?
Well, you know, I've expressed my personal view on it, and it's something that my colleagues will also consider.
Okay. Kelly O'Dwyer, Nick Champion, thanks for your time.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.